Envy, Enemy of Happiness by Egberto Bermúdez. In chapter 8 of the second part of Don Quixote, Don Quixote and Sancho were looking for Dulcinea, the peasant girl Aldonza Lorenzo, idealized by Don Quixote as the incomparable and the most beautiful. This does not fit Sancho's experience. Don Quixote attributes Sancho's inability to share his vision to the tricks of an evil and envious enchanter. He exclaims, and I quote, "O envy, root of infinite evils and woodworm of virtues." All vices, Sancho, bring with them some kind of delight, but envy brings nothing but vexation, rancor, and rage. End quote. According to St. Thomas Aquinas, even though normally the object of sadness is something bad, in the case of envy, the sadness is for something good, since the other's good is thought as bad for oneself insofar as it diminishes one's own glory or excellence. Therefore, envy is sadness for the good of another. Francisco de Quevedo emphasizes the destructive nature of the vice of envy, and I quote, "Envy is thin because it bites but doesn't eat. It is like a raging dog," unquote. Dante, in Canto 13th of the Purgatorio of the Divine Comedy, realizes that the problem of envy has to do with looking and comparing oneself with others. The envious purge their sins in the following way, and I quote, "Each soul has his eyelids pierced and sewn with iron wires, sealing their eyes to make them settle down," unquote. Positive psychology cautions us that social comparison and envy is likely to end in disappointment. Christian teaching also enhances happiness by warning us about social comparison, specifically through the 10th commandment: "You shall not covet your neighbor's goods." Finally, how to avoid envy and its destructive sadness, full of vexation, rancor, and rage? Simply by awakening the capacity to rejoice in the good of others. Francisco Ugarte, in his book Choosing Happiness, suggests the development of the following dispositions, and I quote, number 1, accepting ourselves, including our defects and strengths, in order to allow us to accept others with their values and accomplishments. Choosing not to compare ourselves egocentrically with others, nor make judgments about ourselves based on such comparisons. We must apply comparisons positively instead, with the intention of improving, emulation. 3. Cultivating self-forgetfulness and service of our neighbors, in order to grow in humility and develop high esteem for those around us. 4. Fostering magnanimity, forgiving ourselves with greatness of spirit, to eradicate all feelings of inferiority. 5. Loving others so that we see their progress, their qualities, and their successes as contributors to our own joy. 6. Recognizing ourselves as loved by God, taking into account that the human person is the only creature on earth which God willed for himself. Unquote. Thank you for listening to me.